The city of Albuquerque took an unusual step in selecting its new director of economic development. Mayor Richard J. Berry chose an entrepreneur from the private sector. He's Gary Oppedahl, rather than someone with a track record in policy and government, which is usually our way. Now, the city and the state have had mixed results, luring large employers here in recent years. We've talked about that here at this table a bunch. But meanwhile, reports indicate our labor force is shrinking, and some sectors like construction may not entirely bounce back. Some are saying it's time to change the conversation by making New Mexico a place for business, startups, and innovation. So tell me, start with you on this one. First of all, let me say this. I love the hire. I think this is the right guy at the right time, private sector. It's the trend across the country, and I think the mayor has made a pretty good choice here. You know, he wants to create a culture of entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs here, rather than focusing on getting big companies to come in. Another long-term play. It's not going to solve our problems by the middle of next year. Your sense of just on thematically, is this the right way to go from your observation of economic development here?
Absolutely. I have not had the chance to meet Gary yet, but I like the style, I like the move, and here's the reason why. Technology CEOs listen to technology CEOs. They don't listen to bureaucrats, they don't listen to association executives, they talk mano a mano. They want to find out, is it really friendly for tech companies? So I think from that perspective, it's a win-win. What they do with the budget to attract these, what type of partnerships are developed, like with Technology Ventures Corporation, with angel investors. That has yet to be seen, but I think that we've already stepped forward about 5 or 6 steps in a very positive direction just with naming him as that new in that new position.
Interestingly enough, Antoinette, there's this idea is certainly not new about creating. Every place needs entrepreneurs. It's not as if Albuquerque is vastly different. However, the idea of how to create a culture that understands and embraces risk. That's what we're talking about with entrepreneurship. It's taking risk.
And that's
Please.
why I think I agree with you. I think it's a very interesting and a good choice. And I also liked his humility. Yeah. He said, I don't know how to create an agency, but his attitude was, well, other people do that. I'll provide my skills. Right. And I think those contacts and that skill, I think it's a real hopeful move.
And entrepreneurs listen closely. You have to. If you're running a business, you have to listen to every little detail. Rob, interestingly enough, I'm curious if this also is an idea that perhaps if it starts to get some traction here, I don't see why it wouldn't, statewide. Is this a model for our statewide economic development folks to start taking as well?
I hope so. I think there is sort of a lingering feeling on a lot of people in New Mexico that the businesses are takers, they're not givers. Sure. That it's a zero-sum game. But if you take some economics classes, you know that if one person or one industry grows, doesn't mean it comes at the expense of someone else. Right. And so I think a hire like this might be able to attract people, maybe younger people or people who don't have that mindset, to think that, okay, entrepreneurship is something that's positive and they can help. And Lord knows, I mean, my personal opinion is all of the above. I mean, if it's manufacturing, if it's traditional businesses, if it's entrepreneurship, we need to get out of the hole.
But you would say, however, that we have perhaps tilted our lean has been a little too far, perhaps, towards getting big companies to come here instead of spending our energies on building our own folks. Is that a fair?
I think so. I would agree with that, specifically when you've got you're trying to lure big businesses and you don't have those clawbacks. We've seen that so many times. We've seen that in Rio Rancho, where I believe it was HP, where they didn't meet their goals and they can skate, and that's not right. Even if you are pro-business, you've got to be able to lay down rules.
That's right. That's right. I had the good fortune, Laura, to host at the Albuquerque Tech Fiesta some months back a panel discussion about economic development from a technology point of view and young entrepreneurs here in Albuquerque. It was very interesting to me how vastly different the conversation was from these men and women than our traditional industries. It was all upside for them. It was all positive. In fact, it was said by one of the panelists, if you can't make a business go in Albuquerque, you're a lousy business person. Because you have everything you need here. Right. You know, my point is, there's a new generation of attitude about business and entrepreneurship that's along the lines of what Tom said about these types of folks. Right. Is this the man to tap into that kind of energy?
I think it's a good pick. I think it's definitely going to, I'm hopeful that it will change things for the better. But in my job, I have the opportunity to look at a lot of economic reports and information on a regional basis and as it impacts New Mexico. And the stuff that I've looked at really shows that overall in the West, there's been a trend towards actually a declining labor force, but an increase in your your tech entrepreneur type folks and people who are actually on a very stable income, which could be investment income or it could be benefit type income from the federal government or other type of income. But it means that it's not income that gets derived from actual labor.
Right.
And those people tend to be more mobile. They tend to be more able to live wherever they want and telecommute somewhere else. And so when you look at those kinds of numbers and you consider the kind of amenities that we have here in Albuquerque and in New Mexico, the public lands, the recreational opportunities, you can ski, 15, 20 minutes away. All of those kinds of things really mean a lot to a younger workforce that's coming in who is looking at, do I want to spend the next 30, 40 years in an office chained to my desk while my family has a separate, home life, or do I really want to be interacting with them on a regular basis? And I think that's really what the young, skilled workforce is looking for, is trying to create those opportunities.
That's
so
right.
I think it really says a lot about Albuquerque, and I think this is the guy to do that.
Interestingly, the darling city, Tom, right now is Oklahoma City for young entrepreneurs. I see this all over the press now. But it was interesting that we had an editorial in the Santa Fe New Mexican, I believe, and just a couple days ago about this very issue. It seems like the press is actually catching on to this, and this is part of the language change that this man is trying to get at. The press has to advocate, this is what entrepreneurship looks like. These are the profiles, these are the people, they walk among us. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So we need to do our job as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The audience that Laura was referring to includes high flyers and lone eagles, and those are the groups that we want to be able to attract. I mean, at least if you want the entrepreneurial mindset. But in addition to providing the technology, outdoor recreation, outdoor activities, you need to have that ancillary support. Right now, Oklahoma City's hot. Before it was Austin, then it was Boulder, and so name the hot place.
But it's not just attracting them, it's also growing them. And
Yeah,
that's
oh,
our educational
absolutely.
system.
Absolutely.
Well, to me, Rob, it seems like we're under 30 seconds here. There's nothing that sells success like success. We have a lot of good success stories here for entrepreneurship. You can barely find in our general media. It's an amazing thing here. I really do think that's part of the problem.
I'll do a
here.
better job of.
Thank you for hearing the point. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take the hit on that one.
That's right. I looked right at you for that. That's right. In a minute, we're back with the Dowager Countess of Downton Abbey, believe it or not, as imagined by the dolls.